I don't want to make this video. I really don't, to be 100% honest with you. But I've made 16 other of these videos throughout the football season, and you know, I basically just may as well finish what I started. I mean, that's all there is to it. And plus, I pretty much said everything that I needed to say in regards to this matchup after last week's atrocity against Kansas City. Because to be honest with you, my confidence with this team has gone from here all the way down to the bottom as far as doing anything in the playoffs go. And I'm going to get more into that in this video. What's going on, everybody? Happy New Year. Hope your New Year's off to a good start so far. Mac, back with another video. As always, do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, follow on Instagram. Link is down in the box below. Week 18, the regular season finale between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals in Pittsburgh. All I can say is thank God the regular season's coming to an end so we can get to the playoffs, get embarrassed in the wild card once again, and then I can just take a break from this team because, to be honest with you, until the Steelers show me something and until they truly show me that they have truly changed and that they are a serious contender and they don't just get off to hot starts or they win games when it's too late in the season to do anything and they make the playoffs via another team helping us out. I cannot sit down here and consciously say that I have any confidence with this team because let me tell you, it don't matter who we have on the roster. And I know that everybody likes to say, you know, if we have this guy on the roster, then it'll make a difference. Well, we just have a bunch of roster holes on the offensive line. We don't have a run game. Pickens is the only good receiver. Our linebacking core is thin. We don't have a good run defense. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, Steeler fans, you know what? Not even Steeler fans. It's Mike Tomlin fans. They will blame everybody. Everybody from the frickin' Tooth Fairy all the way down to the towel boy on this team, except for the one common denominator that has been with this franchise for the past 18 years now, and that's the head coach. Because let me put it to you like this. In Tomlin's first season as head coach, still one and done in the playoffs. And then we won the Super Bowl the next year later because that was a built-up Super Bowl team and we nailed the draft that year. And that was what Mike Tomlin was handed when he became the head coach in 2007. And then we made another Super Bowl run in 2010, fell short to Green Bay. Sure, Ben had a terrible game in that one as well, so it's hard to blame Tomlin for that game, but still. Then comes the fun part. 2011, one and done. 2014, one and done. Let's see, 2015 won a playoff game that we had absolutely no business winning, and any Steeler fan with half a brain cell would know that the Bengals lost that game more than we won it. Lost to the Denver Broncos the next week. Then we blew out the Dolphins the next year. Beat Kansas City strictly by just kicking field goals the next week. And then we decided playing zone defense against the Patriots was a good idea, and we promptly got our asses kicked against them, followed by losing our first playoff game every year since 2017. And most of the time, this is with Big Ben with a QB. a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback, in my personal opinion, a quarterback who's definitely going to be in Canton by the end of the decade, and people find excuses for it all the time. When are you going to wake up and realize that this season is literally no different than 2018 when we were 7-2-1 and we choked the division away? 2019, I mean, okay, you can give some kind of leeway to the Steelers there because Big Ben was out for basically the whole season that year with needing major surgery. And we had to play musical chairs at quarterback for that whole season. So you can give them a little bit of a pass, but still, the Steelers were 8-5 and could have made the playoffs and ended up 8-8. 2020, do I even need to go over that one? 11-0, and you finish 12-4, and you get booted out of the first round by the freaking Cleveland Browns of all franchises. 2021, a team that shouldn't even have been in the playoffs, and they got mollywopped promptly by the best team in football, the Kansas City Chiefs. 2022, deservingly did not make the playoffs because that was a team that shouldn't have even been competitive. And the same deal as last year. No business making the playoffs whatsoever. And we got our asses kicked by the Buffalo Bills, a far better team. But this year, you think 2024, I mean, my God, this team is 10-3. The offense is playing great. The offense is having productive week after productive week. Tomlin made a coaching change or a QB change with taking out Justin Fields, who, fair enough, the Steelers were 4-2 underneath him. So, and Fields, at the time, I felt like it wasn't warranted for him to be benched because he really didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything to warrant him being benched. And I understand that he was the backup and that Russell Wilson was going to be the was going to be the starter all along. But it was just the timing of it that I disagreed with. And then Russell Wilson, he comes in and he plays pretty well. I mean, sure, the Steelers had a hiccup against the Cleveland Browns on that Thursday night game, but up to that point, that was the only hiccup that the Steelers had, was that Thursday night game. And to be fair, it's tough to play on a short week. And the Steelers were playing a road game in the blizzard. And even then, the Steelers rallied from a double-digit deficit. And it was just that blunder moment by Mike Tomlin with declining the penalty, or with accepting the penalty, which I still can't believe he did, but looking back on it, it makes sense now because only Mike Tomlin would do that. You follow that up with 2 straight wins and you're 10-3, and you're like, this team can win a playoff game. This team probably won't be in the Super Bowl, but considering that we haven't won a playoff game in 8 years, may as well make it 9 years now. You're thinking, maybe this team is finally heading in the right direction. And dare I say it, maybe Tomlin has finally lived up to his phrase of we're going to unleash hell in December. 3 losses in 10 days. I know they were all against great teams. I know they were all against, you can say, Super Bowl contenders. I understand that. But you see, here's the thing. When you're hyped up to be a playoff team and you're expected to do well because you clinched a playoff spot and you have that kind of momentum, those are teams that you need to beat. And the Steelers didn't get the job done. As a matter of fact, every one of those losses were by double digits. And going into that Philly game, the Steelers hadn't had a double-digit loss all season. You lose a double-digit game to the Eagles, and you're like, okay, regroup. It's a divisional game against the Ravens. The last, 8, 9 games against them have all been decided by 7 points or less. They may lose that game, but if they can at least look competent in a loss, I won't be too upset about it. The Steelers looked anything but competent against the Ravens. That pick six ruined everything. Sure, they battled back. Sure, they answered everything they had against that the Ravens threw against them, and they ended up losing by 14. When Russ threw that pick six, it was only a 7-point game. They had just intercepted Lamar Jackson. Minkah Fitzpatrick did, of all people, his first interception in a couple of years. And then Russ gives it right back to it. And then going into the Kansas City game, it's kind of like you're a battered housewife going back to an abusive husband at that point. I mean, did anybody think that we would beat Kansas City? We probably could have made it a game against them, but we just got our asses kicked by them. And of course, we would be the team that the Chiefs would have their most dominant win against. I mean, because that's just what the Steelers do. They allow season bests from every team. They allow scrubs to have career games against us. They allow these no names to drive down the field against us. And we can sit down here and laugh at DTR all we want. But I have no doubt at this point that if we were to play the Browns when they're starting DTR, he'd have a career game against us because that's just what the Steelers do. That's what they have done during the Mike Tomlin era. Yeah, they did it in the Cowher and parts of the Noel era too, but it has never been on full display as it has been in the Tomlin era. And that's why this team is not going to go far in the playoffs. Oh, but we can still play the Houston Texans in the playoffs, and the Texans, they're a fraudulent team too. Yeah, remember what happened the last time the Texans played us? CJ Stroud came on the map against us. And that's just basically what I said. We allow scrubs, we allow no names, and we allow rookies to have career games against us. What is the one common denominator of all that? Mike Tomlin. When are you Tomlin fans going to wake up and realize that? How many more passes are you going to give him? Because injuries are a byproduct of the game. Every team deals with injuries. So stop using that as an excuse. So as far as the Steelers go, like I said, I know I've been rambling on and I'm 12 and a half minutes into the video. I haven't even begun the preview yet, but basically, as far as the Steelers go, this is basically how I'm going to cover them now. No emotion, no excitement. I hope you enjoyed me flipping out on them last week. I hope you enjoyed my rage after the Kansas City game, because that is the last time I'm going to sit down here and show this franchise any kind of emotion for a very long time. I am basically giving them the Pittsburgh Pirates treatment until something changes, because I am sick of sitting down here every single year this deep into the season talking about how they're on a 3-game losing streak, talking about how they're barely going to, creep their way into the playoffs, how they're going to back into the playoffs once again, how they're going to get destroyed in the first round of the playoffs again, how they're not a Super Bowl team. I'm tired of it because see, I thought this team was different. I thought this team could genuinely make a run. I thought this team could genuinely get over that hump and finally get a playoff win. This team ain't winning a playoff game. I don't care who we play. And I understand we can't finish any lower than 7th, okay? But it doesn't matter. If we play Baltimore, we're screwed. I hate having to say that because I can't stand the Ravens, but if we play Baltimore in the playoffs, we're screwed. If we play Houston in the playoffs, which is quote-unquote our best chance of winning a playoff game, we're screwed. If we end up playing the Chargers in the playoffs, those are the 3 teams that we can possibly play in the wild card. Baltimore, Houston, and the Chargers. Do you think we can sweep LA? We beat them in week 3, yes, but do you think we can sweep them? Pulling off a sweep is hard against any team. I don't care. So that's just what I'm saying. Until this franchise shows me that they're serious about competing and they're serious about truly turning things around, and Mike Tomlin doesn't just say at every single press box, we're going to wipe the stench away from the losing and we're going to, I'm sick and tired of losing. No one wants to hear that anymore, Mike. And quite frankly, no one believes you anymore. Until I see a real change, okay, this is how I'm going to cover the Steelers. No emotion, no passion, no nothing, because I expect them to fail at this point. Okay? That's all there is to it. So, and Tomlin fans, enjoy your 9 and 10 win seasons. Enjoy your little participation trophies, okay? Because that's what you settle for. You just settle for the bare minimum. You are the sports equivalent of a guy who's in his late 20s, early 30s, basically around my age. You're the sports equivalent of a guy who's around my age who is in a relationship and he's just happy to see his woman in bed and you don't do anything. That's what Mike Tomlin fans are. So you might have to excuse me if I have expectations and I want to see this team do more than just finish above 500 and go to the playoffs just to lose in the first round. You may as well not even be there. I mean, with the Pirates is different because the Pirates have been god awful for so long that I'll take anything with them. The Steelers should not be settling for that. They are way better than that. And you know it. Anyway, Steelers, Bengals. Somehow, some way, the Bengals are still in the playoff hunt. Not that I think they'll make it, but they are still in the playoff hunt. And if Cincinnati loses this game, then they are eliminated from contention. Indianapolis, they somehow lost to the Giants last Sunday. Game they had absolutely no business losing, but they lost it anyway. And all that really did to the Giants is that it just hurt their draft position. Let's see. They pulled it off against the Denver Broncos in that overtime thriller, which I'm putting that one on Sean Payton. I mean, it's a tie game. Cade York just doinked it off the goalpost to potentially win the game for the Bengals. And he knows, I assume, that if Denver ties with the Bengals, then the Broncos clinch a playoff spot right there. So why didn't he just play for the tie? I'm putting that one on Sean Payton. So now Denver has to fight for their playoff lives yet again when they should be in the playoffs. And this game doesn't matter to the Bengals. But somehow, some way, they're in the playoffs. Joe Burrow put together an MVP type season that probably won't get him MVP because of the team that he's on. And that's just the thing with the Bengals. We beat them the last game 44-38, but that was the best offensive showing that we've had in years. And ever since then, the offense has looked middling to trash. Deservedly so. Mainly because the Bengals have actually kind of cleaned up the defense a little bit. Still, not really scared of Cincinnati's defense. But then again, if a defense like the Ravens can hold the Texans to 2 points, they basically pitched a shutout on defense there, and Baltimore just gave them 2 points, then I really have no doubt that the Bengals can do the same as far as their defense goes, because Lou Anarumo, he can probably make adjustments to the defense. Cincinnati is dealing with injuries as well. Chase Brown and Amarius Mims, they are questionable for this game. Sam Hubbard, he is doubtful for this game. And Trent Brown and Daxton Hill have been ruled out for this game. So Cincinnati's coming in a little banged up. One good thing I do have to say about us is that we are coming in relatively healthy. So there's literally no excuse. I mean, Pickens came in last Wednesday. It was his first game back in a couple weeks. Now he's going to be on the field now he has extra days of rest. That's another glaring thing right there. There is literally no excuse for the Steelers to lose this game. None. None whatsoever. You had 10 days rest. And as much as I hate that we're playing on a Saturday, oh well, that's just all there is to it. But you have 10 days of rest. The Bengals are pretty undermanned coming into this game. Some of the most important players that you've needed to steer the ship with this team are coming back onto the field, both sides of the ball. There is no excuse for you to lose this game. None at all. Cincinnati's offense is definitely the talk for them. I believe they are the sixth scoring offense in the league, and they know how to collect a bunch of yards as well. This is a team that's going to light up the scoreboard, and this is a team that's going to get a lot of yards per play as well. Defense, like I said, it's still very prone to giving up some big plays, but this offense has fallen from a top 5 unit with Russell Wilson to now being 12th. How bad has it fallen for us? And the defense, I am especially disappointed in, because whether you want to say, well, TJ Watt's been getting chipped a lot this year, whether you want to say that the linebacking core is thin and we just truly can't stop the run, no matter what Minkah Fitzpatrick's been pedestrian and Deshaun Elliott's our lead tackler, whatever you want to say about the defense, I don't care anymore. The fact of the matter is, this defense went from a top 3 unit to now barely being in the top 10. And it's week 18. Guys on Cincinnati's defense that really, we all know about their offense. It's it's Burrow, Chase. It's Burrow, Chase, and Higgins. That's really all you got to know for Cincinnati's offense. I almost said Joe Mixon, but as far as their defense goes, I'm looking at a guy like Trey Hendrickson, who's probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year, in my opinion. You got a guy like Jermaine Pratt. Basically, if Jermaine Pratt guarantees a win against us like he did the last time, that's probably the only way we can come away with a win. You got BJ Hill, you got Cam Taylor, and you got Britt as well. So you do have some good pieces for Cincinnati's defense right here. But if the Steelers are to break out of a funk of offense, this is the week to do it. This is the week to do it. Because like I said, you are on 10 days rest. You are relatively healthy coming into this game. You have your playmakers there. And Cincinnati is undermanned. You outmatched this team in so many ways coming into this game. And if you are to redeem yourself in any type of way with how this season has went, with how these past, let's say now, well, let's see, it's been 10 days, how these last 20 days have gone, basically, okay? If you are to redeem yourself at any point, this Saturday night is the night to do it. Because I'm not going to sit down here like a fool and root for the Cleveland Browns to beat the Baltimore Ravens, okay? For 2 reasons. First of all, I've always said that I would never, I would, honest to God, cross my heart, hope to die. I would rather the Steelers miss the playoffs altogether than root for another team to get us in. Because when you're in that position, you put yourself in that position regardless of what you did in the regular season. Okay? So now we have to root for the Browns to beat the Ravens, which is not going to happen. Baltimore is an 18-point favorite to beat Cleveland. You want to know why? Because the Browns, if they can somehow find a way to make it more obvious that they're blowing that game and they're tanking, they're starting Dorian Thompson-Robinson against the Ravens. And Dorian Thompson-Robinson is literally the only quarterback in NFL history to have consecutive seasons where he averages less than 4 yards a pass with a minimum of 100 pass attempts. He is an awful quarterback. And the Browns are starting him against the Ravens. And you're going to hope and pray the Browns beat Baltimore, who are the complete opposite of us, when we lost those 3 games in 10 days and they won them all in 10 days. Yeah. Steeler fans who believe the Browns are going to help us out right there to clinch the division, you probably go to a strip club thinking that the stripper actually likes you. In other words, you are incredibly naive. There is no way the Cleveland Browns are winning that game. So forget about pulling for the Browns. Forget about it. They're not winning that game. We have to worry about what this team is going to do with most likely the 5th seed. Okay? Because I have no doubt the Chargers are going to beat the Raiders. I have no doubt about that. LA's winning that game. So if we win this game, we basically clinch the 5th seed. Worry about what we're going to do as the 5th, potentially 6th seed. Worry about that, not what other teams do. Okay? That's really all I got to say. It really is. Because like I said, I didn't even want to make this video. But like I said, I may as well just finish up what I started, because I do cover all the Steeler games. You know, it's all there is to it. People think that the Browns are really going to win the game because they want to ruin Baltimore's chances at clinching the North. You people are so naive. The Steelers did this to themselves. They did this to themselves. Yes, we're in the playoffs, but we should have that division won. We should have it won. Instead, it's another Tomlin special in December. But people are going to blame the schedule. People are going to blame the defense. People are going to blame Russell Wilson. People are going to blame Arthur Smith. They are going to blame everybody except the fucking coach. Because that's what they do. Tomlin always gets a pass. Okay? He always gets a pass because this fan base has such a freaking boner for him. Oh, we know. Oh, another 9-win season, another 10-win season. Yeah, that's all you care about now. Anyway, I'm just rambling on now. Just win. That's all I'm asking you to do. Just win. Come out with some urgency. At the very least, come out with some urgency. Show that you care. Show that you give a damn. Show that you care about wearing these colors, donning this logo, playing for this franchise, making a playoff run. Show that you care. And that's it. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Mac, checking on out for the day. Have a good one, everybody.